Hey guys, today I'll replace the Serpentine belt on my 2014 Toyota Corolla with a 2ZR-FE engine that's equipped with air conditioning. Keep in mind that replacing the belt on other engine models or models without air conditioning will not be the same. I'll start by disconnecting the battery for safety. This will ensure that moving parts like fans and the engine starter cannot be activated while I'm working on the car. Next, I raised the front wheels and supported the car on jack stands. Make sure to raise the vehicle safely and follow the instructions in your jack and vehicle's manual for raising the car. And I'll remove the wheel cover. I'll start by removing the clip and two 10mm bolts in the wheel well. And there's a few more clips and bolts underneath. If the bolts don't come out easily, screwing them in and out and spraying them with lubricant will help to take them out without breaking them. And I have one last clip here. And I'll pull the cover off. Here's the Serpentine belt viewed from the side. Now I have easy access to install the new one. Next, I'll take the engine cover off. Just pull up on each corner to disengage it. And I'll mark the position of the tensioning bolt above the alternator with a Sharpie, making sure to place the mark as close to the bracket as possible so I can line it up in exactly the same place later. Once the mark is placed, I'll take a close-up photo. This way I'll know exactly the position it was in when reinstalling it. Just one turn makes a big difference, so it's very important to reinstall it in exactly the same place. And I'll unscrew the bolt using a 12mm socket. Here's a close-up of the bolt. The part that was in the nut looks brand new, and my Sharpie mark is right next to it. Next, I'll loosen the hinge bolt at the bottom of the alternator, which is right here. I'm using a long 3/4 inch drive ratchet with a reducer to 1/2 inch drive and a 14mm socket. This combination gives the perfect depth so it can fit in, and I'll loosen the bolt slightly. And now loosen the bolt at the top of the alternator as well using a 12mm socket. The alternator should move back and forth now. It's not loose enough to take the belt off yet, so I'll unscrew the tensioner bolt a little more. And once it's loose enough, the belt should come off easily. Before installing the new belt, I'll test the alternator bearing by giving it a spin and test for side-to-side movement. There shouldn't be any noise or play in the bearing. And I'll do the same for the water pump pulley as well. Now I'll install my new belt. In case you need one, I'll have a link to it down in the video description. I'll start by hanging it over the alternator pulley first. And I'll route it over the bottom pulleys from the side. Make sure the belt has fit perfectly into the grooves on the pulleys and is routed properly over the water pump pulley. So the belt came off the alternator. I'm just gonna put it back on now. And now pull the alternator back to tension the belt. I'm gonna double check that the belt is still properly in the pulleys at the bottom. I have to be absolutely sure, otherwise I'll ruin the belt. So the belt's in on all the pulleys properly, and now I'll tighten the tension bolt to the Sharpie mark I made earlier. The tension bolt got a little squeaky, so I'll use a little WD-40, making sure not to spray any on the alternator or the belt. So I got it right to the Sharpie mark. Next, I'll tighten the top alternator bolt to 18 foot-pounds. And I'll tighten the bottom alternator bolt to 32 foot-pounds. To put the cover back on, I'll start by putting the clips back in first. And before reinstalling the bolts, I'll put on some anti-seize so they can come out easily next time. Now I'll lower the car and put everything back together. I'll reinstall the engine cover, just push down on each corner to snap it back in, and I'll reconnect the battery. So everything is back together. Now I'll start the engine. So everything sounds good and there are no unusual noises that would indicate the belt tension is too low. I'll drive the car for about 15 minutes now to let the belt stretch out, and then I'll use my tension gauge to make sure the tension is set correctly. So I drove for at least 15 minutes. Now I'll disconnect the battery, raise the car, and take off the covers again. And I'll check the tension now. On a 2ZR-FE engine with air conditioning, the tension should be measured between the crankshaft and AC compressor pulleys. I'm going to use a Krickit 2 tension gauge to measure the tension. I'll place it between the two pulleys and press it slowly until it clicks. So here's the result, indicated by the intersecting point between the needle and the flat surface. It's below the measuring range of 100, and it looks like it's about 80 pounds, which is too low. The proper range for a drive belt that has been used more than 5 minutes on a 2ZR-FE engine, measured between the crankshaft and AC compressor pulleys, is 124 to 168 pounds. To increase the tension, I'll loosen the top and bottom alternator bolts first. This will allow the alternator to move back and forth so the tension can be adjusted. And I'll turn the tensioner bolt clockwise, half a turn at a time, and then check the tension each time until I get it in the proper range. So I got it to just a little over 120 pounds, and to be sure it's accurate, I repeated the measurement a few times, and each time was very similar. I'm also going to test the tension with the Krickit 1, which can also be used on this belt. It measures tensions up to 160 pounds, and this belt is just narrow enough to fit within its range. In case you're interested in either of them, I'll have links to both down in the video description. So let's double check it with the Krickit 1. I'll press it very slowly, only on the parts that I'm holding it from, until it clicks. And here's the result. It's about 125 pounds, which is very similar to the measurement I got with the Krickit 2. Now I'll lock in the tension. I'm going to tighten down the top and bottom alternator bolts to their specified torque, the same as I did earlier. Then I will reinstall the bottom cover, engine cover, and reconnect the battery. If you liked this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. Your support is really appreciated, and consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching!